There are all kinds of alternatives for making selections in Photoshop. In this tutorial, we are focusing on smoke selection. I'm talking about an alternative for us to make selections on images that have an unusual appearance that can't be selected with standard selection tools such as smoke. How to select smoke, how to decouple it, what needs to be done to separate the smoke from the background and make it usable for another image. Let's open the files we want to decouple again. I have two smoke images. One of them is this image and the other image is this one. This image is more colorful than the other one. We can say that this is a simpler image than the other. Now, if I try to select this smoke effect with the pen tool, such a thing is, of course, not possible here. If I want to select it with the magic wand tool, I'm not going to succeed. So, the way to decoupage these types of photos that have a background that looks like smoke and has the kind of look that we can't select normally is through channels, through color channels. Especially these color channels are much more useful when the background is one color and the object in front of it is very prominent like this one. So we do it from the channels palette. I have the channels palette here. If you don't see this, make sure that the check mark on the left of channels under Windows is checked. On this channels palette we have red, green and blue channels. When we click on each of these channels, notice the difference in the image. This is important for us to move forward with the decoupling. What we need to look at now is which one shows more images. We need to pay attention to that. When I go to the red layer, I see less smoke. When I select the green layer, I see a little bit more smoke. And when you get to the blue layer, I see more than the others. Blue is the layer that shows the most smoke. Why is it the blue layer shows more? Because when we select the RGB layer, we can see that the photo is predominantly blue. That's why blue is more dominant here. Now that we have decided on the blue layer, we can do the selection process. We are going to use the same method we used to select a layer. I press the Ctrl key and click on the layer I want to select. In this image, I can see that some images of smoke, some areas are selected. The tingling here indicates that the image is selected. When we have selected these areas in the image, I switch to the RGB layer again. While on this layer, I press Ctrl C. When I press Ctrl C, I have copied these selected areas. Now let's go back to the layers, that is, to the layers panel. Let's paste the area we just selected here with Ctrl V on the keyboard. After pasting, there will be a new layer here. When we look at the image, there will not be much change because there is the same image under the selected area. If I remove the bottom image, that is, if I make it invisible, I will be able to see more clearly what is pasted here. I remove the image of the bottom image and we can see more clearly what we have pasted here. It may not look very beautiful to you right now. We are going to make it pretty. I'm going to create a new solid layer. I'm clicking on the button here and I'm selecting solid color. The color we are choosing here is going to be the background of the smoke image. Let's choose shades of blue. We can change it later if necessary. I click OK and I move this layer under the smoke image. I paste it. This is my smoke image. Again, I select the smoke layer. When we take a closer look at the smoke we pasted, it is clear that it is cut on black. Now, we will make the smoke more prominent by removing these areas. Since there will be no black colors here, we will get a great smoke image. There is only one thing left to do for this. With the smoke layer selected, I select the Remove Black Matte option under the Matte option under Layers from the menu. The reason I chose black here is because I took this smoke image from black. If I was going to decoupage something from white, I would use the Remove White Matte option underneath to remove the white parts. I choose the black matte option. And when I do, all the black areas are gone and the smoke is there as it should be. When I put this smoke on a sample background, let's drag it like this. I opened a sample background here. When we put it on it and look at it in detail, it looks like it is really there and the decoupage of the smoke is successful. I'm deleting this layer. Let's make a new example. Let's use this smoke image in our new example. In this way, by using these decoupage techniques, we also learn how to decouple smoke shows with these techniques. I'm going to the channels panel and I see which layer here is much better, and here is blue. So I click on the blue layer by pressing the Ctrl key. I go to RGB and copy the selected area with Ctrl C. I go to the layers panel and paste it here with Ctrl V. I'm not interested in the layer below. We need to remove the black areas. So I select the Remove Black Matte option under the matting option under the layer. It looks indistinct because it has nothing to do with the background. But the situation changes when I assign a color to the background. This is the decoupaged smoke image we created. If I also change the color of this image, we can understand what we are doing much better. In this tutorial, I showed you how we can decouple objects like smoke using the channels panel. The reason we started with the channels panel here is that we can't select this smoke with the standard selection tools. We can quickly decouple objects with visible backgrounds like smoke and use them in our projects and works without bothering with the selection tools in the toolbox on the left. That's all for this video. If today's video was useful to you, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel right now. Just click on the subscribe button below this video. Thank you for watching.